you struggling to get a good night's sleep? Well, today I'm going to share with you 7 tips to help you get a good night's sleep. I'm Dr. Rena Malik, urologist and pelvic surgeon, and if you're new here, I make content on urologic health, bladder health, sexual health, and so much more. Make sure if you like this video, subscribe and share this channel with your friends. If you haven't seen my last video on why sleep is important, make sure you check that out before you watch this video, because a lot of the things I'm going to talk about are taken exactly from the information that I shared with you in that video. And so if you want to understand exactly the science behind why these tips work and why they're important, make sure you watch that video first. So tip number 1 is get sunlight early in the morning. So in my last video, I mentioned how our bodies follow a circadian rhythm. In order to set that circadian rhythm, it's important for our bodies to be exposed to sunlight. As you all probably know, many of us can go a whole day with getting very little exposure to outside, especially with COVID. Many people are working from home and have no reason to go outside, even to just walk to their car. And so it's important to actually take a few minutes each and every day to get some sunlight. Ideally before 10 in the morning, go outside for as little as 2 minutes, but up to 30 minutes if you can, and get sunlight exposure. That helps your body know that it's daytime, and this is the time for you to be awake and alert. Tip number 2 is avoid caffeine after noon. You might be saying, well, Doc, I've been drinking caffeine my whole life. I can drink a caffeinated beverage like an espresso at 10 p.m. and fall asleep super easy. But we do know that even having caffeine late at night, even if you fall asleep early, that will still disrupt or ruin the quality of your sleep at night. And that's because caffeine has a half-life of 6 hours. So if you have a coffee at noon, at midnight, you'll still have 1/4 of the amount of caffeine that you drank in that coffee in your system. And caffeine, as I've also mentioned in that video, blocks adenosine, which is a molecule in our bodies that tells us when it's time to go to sleep or be sleepy. And so you can also have a crash when it wears off. You'll get this wave of adenosine that finally shows up in your system, giving you a huge crash. Number 3 is develop a wind down routine. I know this sounds simple, but really it helps trick our brains into telling us, hey, it's time to go to sleep, so that you're not sitting there doom scrolling on your phone, on social media, watching YouTube videos one after the other. You're actually telling your brain, hey, it's time to go to sleep right now. So let's do these couple things. It doesn't have to be a long routine. It can be simple as reading a couple pages at night and then writing in your journal, or taking a hot bath and then reading a couple pages and going to sleep. So just having that standard routine will help you and improve your quality of sleep. In the same vein, number 4 is avoid blue light at night. What is blue light? Well, blue light is the color of light that we're exposed to when we see things like LED lights, from our computer screens, from our cell phones. There's tons of blue light, and this blue light tricks our brains into thinking that it's daytime. So it makes it much harder to fall asleep. And I will say this is one of the hardest things to do, because we're all linked to our phones. We're finally winding down. Many of us are using our phones to look at social media or do other things, but this can make it really hard to fall asleep. I don't know about you guys, but I'll find myself often, it's been 30 minutes and I haven't even noticed because I've been scrolling on my social media. A couple things you can do is install some blue light blockers on your computer, and your cell phone often has blue light blockers already installed in it. So make sure you use those at nighttime. Try to keep your bedroom very, very dark. So have blackout shades. Sometimes people will even use red light bulbs to kind of trick your brains into thinking it's very dark or dusk like it is outside. And the other thing that's really helped me personally is keeping my phone away from my bed nightstand. So I keep it far enough away that I actually have to get up out of bed to go use it. That avoids me using my phone right before bedtime. You can also install blockers on your phone to help block access to certain apps like social media apps or YouTube if you find yourself really scrolling on there for a long time. Number 5 is to minimize alcohol. And this doesn't mean you have to stop drinking alcohol whatsoever, but do realize that drinking alcohol before bedtime will ruin the quality of your sleep. What that means is that you'll wake up more often at night and not really know it because you've drank alcohol. And so trying to minimize how much alcohol you drink at night, notice, try it for a few days. You'll actually sleep better and you'll wake up more refreshed. Number 6 is manage the temperature in your bedroom. So at nighttime, our core body temperature actually falls a couple degrees, and we actually sleep better at a colder temperature. In fact, the ideal temperature is about 65 degrees Fahrenheit. A couple easy ways to do this for free at home are trying to warm either your hands, your feet, or your head. So the easiest thing is to actually wear socks at bedtime. So warming those particular areas will actually draw heat out of your core, so it'll actually let you sleep at a cooler temperature. Other things you can do are buy cooling mattress pads or things like that to keep on your bed. In fact, this is not sponsored by this, but I've personally purchased 8 Sleep, which is a mattress pad that you can put on your mattress that regulates temperature, and it has dramatically changed my sleeping. And the last tip, number 7, is avoiding nighttime falls. This is one of the big things that I worry about in many of my patients, especially if you're waking up to pee at night. If you fall, not only are you going to ruin your sleep, but you can end up in the hospital with a fracture, or you can get a head injury, and it can be very dramatic. I know it doesn't sound that bad, but I've seen countless patients who've had really bad sequelae or bad complications after falling at night. So how do you do this? One easy thing is keep a lamp at your bedside. I think most people do have a lamp at their bedside, so that's obviously helpful. When you wake up, turn the light on. Other things you can do is make sure that the pathway between you and the bathroom is clear so that you're not going to fall on your way to the bathroom. You can also install motion censored lights in the walkway to the bathroom if it's a little bit further away and you need to make sure you don't fall on the way there. Lastly, make sure you have emergency phone numbers programmed in your phone. And if you can, actually keep your phone within reach when you're going to the bathroom so that if you do happen to fall and no one's home or no one's awake, that you can call for help and get emergency help right away. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, remember to take care of yourself because you're worth it.